another edition of Paula Hines, the heartbeat of East Texas. We have two guests that will be here today. Starting out with one very special, all the way from Virginia, California, and all points in between. Help me follow, Paula
Lonergan.
Lonergan,
yes.
Okay. Now, I think that probably almost everyone in our listening and viewing audience has seen the movie Remember the Titans.
Yes.
And there is a story behind that. There's always a story behind every movie.
Yes, it is. You're right. You're right.
Well, Paula, this story was about your dad.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes.
And with that, I'll open the door and let you continue on, and then we'll tell people how they can beat you later on today.
Sounds great. Yes. The movie is based on the football team in Alexandria, Virginia, and the football team was headed by Coach Herman Boone. And in the movie, Denzel played Herman Boone. Now, Herman Boone's right-hand man was Paul Doc Hines, and that's my father. And so in the movie, my father is played by Greg Allen Williams. Greg Allen Williams used to be a lifeguard on Baywatch, and so he was chosen to play the part of my father in the movie. And I do web designing, you know, and after the movie came out, the players and the coaches and the cheerleaders got together of the T.C. Williams High School, and they started a foundation to give scholarships to T.C. Williams students. I do the website for that. For them. And over the years, I just noticed how people had so many questions about the Titans. You know, did this really happen? Is this true in the movie? Where are they now? You know, or I found that a lot of teachers used Remember the Titans because of the positive lessons that it teaches. So I saw that there was a need for a book. So what I did is I decided I'm going to do it.
Why not?
That's it. Here's my book. It's called The Titan of a Man, and it just came out in October. But another thing that motivated me to write the book is after the movie came out, I found out so many interesting things about my father. We would, you know, be talking, and he'd say, "Oh yeah, when I was in college, I bodyguarded for Martin Luther King." And I'm like, "What?" I couldn't believe I'm just finding this out. And then I also found out that when my father was in high school, he was on the Ed Sullivan Show. He used to play the trumpet. And then also, one of the other interesting things about my father, when he finished college, he had to do several months of student teaching. And the tennis player, Arthur Ashe, was one of his students.
Good grief.
No. So,
what a story.
What a story, you know. And, I mean, I just found it fascinating. And I just appreciated, really, the positive lessons and that my father taught me that have really stuck to me to this day. And I figured others could benefit from it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take just a minute and review the book for us without giving up.
Okay, everything away. That's right.
You need to buy the book.
That's right. That's right. Gotta get the book. Gotta get the book. That's it. Well, basically, I'm telling my father's story. You know, from his perspective, from my perspective, I should say. I'm telling his story. Growing up in Norfolk, Virginia, and the experiences that he had, and as well as I deal with the upbringing that I had, how my parents raised me. Little interesting tidbits, you know. Some people say, "Oh, that's really funny," you know, about, you know, my life and growing up. And then I deal with, toward the end, the Titan story and kind of the real stories behind the movie.
Which really is almost a lesson in history, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the premise of the movie and of really real life is how these young men had to learn to come together and get along, even though they were from different schools, different backgrounds, different races.
What was it, in the story itself, was there not 3 high schools that consolidated?
That's correct. 3 high schools that consolidated into one, which is a little bit different from the movie, because the movie portrays it as 2 high schools going into one. So, you know, like I said, there's little tidbits that I bring out as far as really what happened in real life. And so it's 3 schools into one, and the coaches really had to work hard. They themselves had to work together and also help the players to work together as well so that they could be successful, and they were a successful team, you know. So I addressed some of the individual stories that the players told me, you know, that really happened, as well as what the coaches, what I've learned, you know, from them since the movie has come out. Yes.
Well, how long did it take you to write the book?
It took me 1 month. 1 month. I started writing on June 10th of 2002, and I was done, my first draft, by July 10th, 2002. So it only took me 1 month. Once I had the story in mind, I just typed and typed and typed and typed, you know, and literally, I mean, sometimes I'd stay up till 2 in the morning because the story was there and I wanted to get it done. And so it only took me 1 month. actually, to write that first draft.
You know, it's always amazing the reaction of the family to the book. What type of response are you getting from folks at home?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I wrote the book and I didn't tell anybody, didn't tell my parents, and then I started approaching publishers about it. And the publishers were, oh, well, good idea, but, well, we're not interested, you know. And so finally, in the summer of 2003, I took a writing and publishing class, and it told me all the steps on how to publish a book. And from that point on, I said, I'm going to do it myself. And so within 4 months from the time that I took the class, my book was complete. And what I did is I didn't tell my parents. I wrote it. I didn't tell them I published it. I presented it to them in October for their anniversary as a surprise.
Wow.
I did. And what it was is my father, he gives speaking engagements across the country, you know, in association with the Titan Foundation. And so he was in Florida giving a speech, and he had just given a speech in front of like 600 people, kids actually, 600 football players, a little league there. And then I sent a copy of the book to one of his players, one of the 71 Titan players who was also down there speaking. And I told the player, I said, well, present it to Daddy at the best appropriate time, where the best impact. And so Daddy had just given a speech, and then all of a sudden, you know, they have him sit down, and the player gets up and starts reading from the book. And my father's like, well, how do you know this? You know, just points that the players wouldn't necessarily know. And then he says, this is all in a book by Paul's daughter, Paula Lonergan, a Titan of a man. They said my father almost fell off the seat.
Wow.
He was totally shocked, but that's what I wanted. He was surprised. He loved it. My mother loves it. The family loves it. Everybody enjoys it. I deal with a little bit of background of my family, too. Really, on my mother's side and my father's side, everybody loves it. So, yeah.
Well, now, for a small market town in East Texas, as Carthage, Panola County, America, what brings you here?
Well, you know, actually, I have a roommate, my old roommate, I should say, Dolores Cole White, lives in this area. She's actually from this area, but she used to live in L.A., and that's when I met her, when she lived in L.A., and we used to be roommates together. And she has been inviting me for years, come to Carthage, come to Carthage. And finally I said, okay, I'm coming, you know. And so when I made arrangements for the trip, I said, well, let me also see if I can make arrangements to speak at the library, because that's something that I have been doing. I've been speaking at schools as well as libraries, you know, to students as well as to adults. There's some wonderful lessons that my father taught me that I've been sharing with others. And so the library extended that invitation, allowed me to come. So, and I'm here, and I'm loving it. Carthage is beautiful.
Were you here this weekend? Did you?
Yeah.
So you see typical East Texas weather. Snow one day, spring like the next.
That's right.
You know, like the weather here, stay around.
Okay, I heard that. Well, it's just fine.
All right, now you will be at the Sammy Brown Library
Yes, I will.
today.
I will,
The
yes.
hours are 3 to 5?
3 to 5, that's
You
correct.
will have your books with you?
I will have my books with me, and also my books are available online. My website is www.atitanofaman.com is the website. So, you know, in case anybody's not able to come out, they can check on the website, or my books can be ordered at 1-800-929-7889 through Books America.
You threw that out fairly quickly. So
Okay.
let's say, go reach and get that pencil out.
Okay, there we go. Go get that pencil.
Get the paper, and here's that 800 number.
That's
again.
right. It's 1-800-929-7889.
Okay.
You can call that number and order my book
Okay.
as well.
But I've got about another 2 minutes here to
Okay.
kind of wrap things up
Okay,
before we have to go to our
gotcha.
next guest.
Okay.
But when they come to the library, you know, certainly it's such an honor to have one as of you here with us. Would you be able to share with some young people how you went through writing the book?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I'd be happy to do so. I usually give a little speech talking about my experience in putting the book together. But also there's, like I said, a particular lesson that I learned from my father that has helped me throughout life and helped really generations of the students that he has taught. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
And as the memorabilia that we have
Yes.
behind us here, and the true story.
The true story.
Is this the team?
That is the 1971 team. That's right. That's correct. And then actually in this picture here are the actual coaches, the real coaches. And, of course, Denzel over there with the real Herman Boone. So I'll have the posters available as well as a variety of articles that people can read. Like I said, get the real story.
Good deal.
Yes.
Paula will be at the library. That's the Sammy Brown Library here in Carthage. She'll be there from 3 until 5
That's
this
correct.
afternoon.
Yes.
So before you go vote, or right after you go vote, we have a special election. I need to throw that in.
Okay, gotcha.
The Texas senatorial race for District Number 1 election is today, so be sure to go by and cast your vote. But go by Assembly Brown Library. Very delightful young lady that you'll have the opportunity to meet, and she's got a great story to tell.
Okay.
And I'm sorry it's so short, but
it's okay.
we appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your visit in small market America, Panola County, USA.
Will do. I am, and we'll continue.
All right.
Okay.
We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Okay.
Krills